pulls them back together.
Starts getting sticky.
Yeah. He's gooing up.
You wouldn't like me when I'm sticky.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Misery Loves Movies. We're doing a recent one today. On the podcast today, we have usual suspects. We have Jonah.
Howdy do.
Chris.
Venom.
That's your one.
Yep, I know.
You didn't do it quick enough, though.
Don't care.
Nicholas.
How did you?
We got Joe joining us again today.
Hey-o.
And we're popping the cherry on Dave.
Hey, how's it going?
He won't be laughing for long.
He sounds
No,
so
I will not
innocent.
be.
He did. Yeah, we're going to bust him in.
Hey.
We got a 6-person centipede.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Dave.
And today we're talking about Sony's Venom.
Venom. That's your one.
That's your one. Everybody is allowed one Eminem style Venom so far, Chris. And
You get a pass just because you had to explain
yeah,
it.
yeah.
He didn't do it quick enough.
I'm good. That's
You're
not.
good.
I want to go for the gusto. If I'm going to use it. I just really want it to be an exclamation point.
Achieve.
You know?
Yeah.
My problem is it's kind of become a thing where I think it's real fun to say it like that. So
You got to be careful.
I do. I gotta be on my guard because
Do we have a rule for if we go over it?
I was going to say, we have not established a punishment,
You
but
get
there will be one.
socked in the face.
That's a little extreme.
Socked in the face, Jesus Christ!
By the
what kind
person-
of game you playing?
But the person on your left is obligated just to like deck you.
Scot free. You wrong way. I mean, am I pulling double
Well, mine's
duty?
done.
Okay.
So whatever.
You punching me?
Is that how? No, I think
I'm on your left.
I
I
think
don't-
you're hitting me, right?
No. Who we punching?
Venom, Venom, Venom.
Get
just did 3.
Well, it was like
Punching him. That's
like
why
one,
he did it.
right?
He does-
You'd punch him in the face.
No. You don't make any sense. It's got to go to you.
No, it's got to be your fist. Though.
Why am I in charge of making the I don't know.
You
I don't
just
know.
came out.
Yeah.
All right. Off
Let's
track.
dig into this.
I'm just throwing shit out there.
So,
Well, yeah, somebody's getting punched, I guess.
Yeah.
End of this episode, someone's getting punched.
That was a flashlight in everybody's face.
thanks,
Oh,
CJ.
oh, God, edit all that flashlight talk out.
Don't leave it.
Oh, fuck you. Anyway, let's get
Please.
into this. We are going... It opens up in space. I like that it opened up in space because Venom is very space-oriented.
I was waiting
Yeah.
for a predator drop. I was waiting for it to swing by, and then they're going to birth a little egg, and then Arnold Schwarzenegger comes up, and he's actually Venom. Because the way that spaceship was coming in...
It was coming in hot.
Yeah.
Dude, they would have made a bigger dent. They would be on, like, the news at your local ho-dunk town.
There is also a crater established. There's not jungle canopy there. That's something, well...
The Fantastic Four have ships crashing every other week. Is the way I figure it.
Yeah, but is anybody, like, reading or watching that? If a Baxter building Quinjet falls in the
don't think-
woods, does anybody
I
care?
don't think people care.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the paper, maybe.
Do people see, oh man, it's another spaceship crash? Oh, it's a Fantastic Four. Fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah.
Somebody, the thing took it out. Oh, Jesus Christ, here we go. Then this is where thing really hurts his rep.
Just the worst pilot.
So he is a pilot. It's the
Yeah.
fucked up thing.
My big rock hands.
Oh, Jesus.
Can't hit the buttons.
No.
I can't hit the
It's like,
buttons.
it sounded
I hit
like
seven.
Laura Linney. Like Laura Linney's the thing.
Oh my god, I would love that. Oh gee, like oh my god. Give me this.
Starring in Venom.
Well,
Yes.
Marvel's got Fantastic Four, so let's
We'll
do
see.
A female
fan
of a
petition.
thing. Oh my god.
So we start with a space crash because something goes wrong. Something got out. It's spooky.
I think they showed that it's one of 4
They
symbiotes.
Yeah, they established that there's 4 of them and one got out. And somebody
One
survived.
went rogue.
Somebody survived the plane crash. And so they throw all caution to the wind because they have guards there. Because this mega corporation, Life, I think is what it's called.
Yeah,
Life
the Life Foundation.
The Life Foundation. They sent people there instantly, meaning they got guards. They're keeping this thing on lockdown. But what they do is just like put him in an ambulance, get him out of here. No armed escort whatsoever. Don't worry about it.
No
I don't know
convoy.
if they need. Yeah, I don't know if they need armed transport, but you would think that there would be police to escort them.
But like Joe was talking about it earlier, and he was saying, well, that astronaut has information, and you don't want the press getting to him first.
Yeah.
So you have armed guards around him to lock that information
suppose.
down.
I'm not saying they're in the ambulance with him. I'm saying that there is a car in front
Yeah.
and a car behind
Yeah.
in case something happens. An escort,
I get
yeah.
that. But I can believe that they don't really know what the hell they're dealing with, because I don't think it's really apparent what are until later in the flick.
No, because they know the villain has got a live feed of what's happening right in front of him, connecting back in Francisco, and they knew what they were transporting back. At the beginning of the movie, he's like, "What happened? What's going on?" And they're like, "One of the things escaped."
I think they knew they found life, but I don't think they knew they found things that attached to hosts and stuff. I don't think they had that information right off the bat.
Yeah, otherwise I feel that one wouldn't have gotten through.
Yeah. Because they would have known, oh, hey, if they go into people and need hosts, then we would,
Yeah,
not
because
send
then
this
it's
guy off. Yeah.
Spoiler alert, they do human testing.
Yeah. Of course.
Spoiler. So then we jump from what, Malaysia? Is that where it was at?
Yeah, it was one of the Malaysias.
Well,
One of
it's
them-
like the.
There's an east and a west, right? Like in North and South
I'm
Carolina.
glad you know your geography.
Do I?
I don't know.
The astronaut that's in the ambulance has a symbiote,
Yeah.
and it kills the driver of the ambulance, flips the ambulance. One of the ambulance workers walks out. Now she has the symbiote, and it
Just starts walking.
starts walking.
I really wish they would have used it. I would walk 5,000 miles. Dude, best movie in my life.
The Proclaimers come out.
Yeah,
They're
it was
they're
Proclaimers.
there. They're on tour, and they just happen to be
Dude, they're
there.
all symbiotes.
You hear
They're all
it like in the
symbiotes.
background. There's just a show in the middle of the woods.
Da 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 da.
It's like yeah, ambling.
Shambling
It
down
has
the
this,
road.
yeah, it's a zombie-esque. It was very zombie-esque.
Yeah.
You can tell they were trying to set I don't know, like a horror tone to it.
I liked it. I appreciated it.
I agree.
There's a lot of stuff too that tonally feels like aliens.
Space
to me
aliens,
in this.
ooh, like
Yeah.
what spooky.
Wasn't this originally pitched? This was supposed to be a rated R movie, right? It was supposed to be more on the spooky side, like more
Yeah, it
horror
was.
aspects. But they had to tone it down because they want to franchise.
Yeah, they wanted that PG-13 rating, and I feel that's the biggest downfall to this movie, because you're watching it the whole time, and you're like, oh man, I wonder how different this scene would have played out if it was rated R. Because yeah, they marketed it as, because this is when Deadpool and Logan, and they were hitting a hard R comic book movies, and they were succeeding. So the fact, like, I get why they did it.
They're gonna release a rated R cut of it after they're done selling you a PG-13
Yeah, they have
Blu-ray
to.
of it, and you're gonna buy it.
Right,
So,
yeah, because they had 40 minutes of cut material.
Yeah.
And it was all stuff that Tom Hardy said that it was really dark, really gritty, really edgy.
Cutting out the best jokes.
Tom 6S.
Tom,
Cutting out the best parts. You think Venom's jerking it with sandpaper?
Yeah.
It's always the Toms, man.
It's always the Toms that like to get
Tom
weird.
Tom Hardy, Tom Six,
Tom Arnold.
Tom Arnold, I don't
Tom
know.
Jones. He's a weirdo.
Tommy Lee Jones.
He
Respect.
cannot sanction your buffoonery, just to let you know.
Tommy
No,
was
He hates Jim Carrey, and I like that he hates Jim Carrey.
fair.
Well, especially that era of Jim Carrey.
Yeah,
Dude, I'm digging Jim Carrey now. He's out there.
he's out there.
He is out there. He's a level that I
we-
enjoy.
Yeah.
Could we get like a modern day Jim Carrey as the Riddler? Because I'd watch the fuck.
Oh,
Probably do
Jesus,
better.
yes.
with the beard still.
Riddler.
We haven't established a rule. You're good.
You pull out that green suit, and he's just...
Riddler.
Oh, God.
So we have Eddie Brock, an intern. I don't know what he was supposed to be. I mean, he had a good graphic, but he looked like an InfoWars
Yeah,
reporter.
he's some sort of you
Holy Crusader.
I called him an aggressive vegan.
Okay.
He's
Elaborate.
Go on.
I don't know, just like
All right, I'll bite.
he's dirty and he's bringing down the man.
He's got tattoos.
With his hot shot, take no prisoners journalism.
He rides a bike.
Yeah.
He's sweaty and he's digging up all the facts.
Oh, he's listening.
He is sweaty through this whole movie. Even the parts where he's supposed to be sweating, it looks like somebody dunked him in water and they're like, action.
Well, it's not that he's like glistening sweaty. It's like he was glistening sweaty and then it dried and he's just gross.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Like,
It's just damp sweat.
But everybody loves Eddie Brock and his Brock Report or whatever, the Eddie Brock Show or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
And he's got lawyer girlfriend who they live together. They have a cat. It's established. You don't see it
What's
when
the
they talk
cat's
about
name? Bart? No, it's not Bart.
it. Mr.
I guess it doesn't matter.
It's a
but
butler
it was a
name.
good
It was
one.
like
Belvedere.
Mr.
It was
Belvedere.
Mr. Belvedere.
It's not a butler.
That's
but
a good
doesn't
nod.
matter.
no,
Do you know Mr. Belvedere?
I know the
Name.
Rick and Morty thing. That was their
Get out.
You never watched
You'll never make it in
OG
this town.
Belvedere?
whatever, dude.
Getting a
My
Belvedere
IQ
tramp
is too
stamp
high.
now.
Oh, okay. Get out.
Hey, both of you've seen Belvedere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you?
Yeah. I grew up
Do
on old
yourself a
TV.
favor, watch some Belvedere. It gets weird. It's a weird concept for a show.
It is
Especially
weird.
when he
A
gets the symbiote.
man nanny.
A Manny.
A manny.
Is that when a woman who dresses up like a man?
No,
No,
it's a man
actually,
nanny.
he's got a wicked mustache, too.
It's like what
Yeah.
you call a nurse. It's a male nurse. Like,
Doubtfire would be like
stop. I'm gonna stop you right there.
well, what?
No,
It'd be
no.
a manani?
A banana,
A banana, yeah.
like a banana, but otherwise. So
Venom!
there's one. There it is.
I went for it.
You win. That was the time.
Good to reel it in.
So we got Eddie Brock established. We have his fiance because they're getting married established.
Actual character from the comics, too. I appreciate that.
Mhm. There was
Amy...
I can't think of her last.
Annie.
Wyvern? Wyvern. It was
Wyvern.
Wyvern.
Yep.
That's what it was.
But it was solid nods. Like I like this movie. I think a lot of us walked away being like, "All right, yeah, I'm in."
Yeah.
yeah.
I-
Yeah,
Give
we
me that
enjoy
sequel.
it.
Yeah, but it's a buy on DVD. I was the most skeptical out of this one. I'm a big fan of Venom, and all I had up to this point was Spider-Man 3.
Ooh,
And I was
And
gonna
comics.
stay tuned on that one.
and comics.
And comics, yeah.
I just wanted to say that my girlfriend and I had watched this like the week after it came out. And talking to CJ about this movie, he was so ready to shit all over it just because he's such a big fan of the comic character. And like, he's like, you can't have solo Venom without a Spider-Man. And it's like, you know what? I see where you're coming from, but I went into it with an open mind and I watched it like one time and I was like, you know what? It's not bad. I don't hate it. And I told CJ that and he refused. He refused to acknowledge it. And now here we are. He is like the biggest advocate for this now.
Which is because they had a good villain to counteract the other villain, which would be Venom. Because we get to that. We are introduced to our villain character at his giant fortress cell /
Secret lab
/ museum for like young children
Yeah,
to look at.
Technodrome.
His technodrome. And they're walking around and like there's a tour going on and we established earlier that the multi-billionaire who's trying to do this, I don't even remember what the bad guy's name was, and that's shame on me.
Carlton.
No.
Carlton Drake.
Carlton Drake.
Nice.
Yeah, Drake,
Nice.
because it had dragon and like I was like, no, all right, cool, I get it. I get this.
Cheater.
So he's leading a tour of school children, and like when one little girl raises her hand, she's like, "I have a question," and all the other kids are like, "Shut up, shut up with your question." And he's like, "Jeez, man, pump the brakes." She just literally raised her hand, and was like, "I have a question." She wasn't like, "Hey, you big nerd." Like she had a
We're
little.
all super enthralled with this tour.
Yeah, this story. These kids are involved with his storytelling of like how great science is. I remember being on field trips in elementary school. I remember not caring about anything that was going on around me.
Mm-hmm.
If you went to the planetarium where you're like, this is the best, before they showed the cool laser light show.
I like that they told that little girl to shut up.
Yeah, you would.
Fall in line, little girl.
One of us.
Yeah.
Do you think that they were all just like, shut up, let's get this over with.
You know,
Quit asking questions.
Nancy's going to ask a
prolonging
question,
this.
and we're going to be here an extra 15 minutes.
You know
and
what?
There's cookies.
Never thought about that. I didn't think about that take. I just thought they were being garbage.
That's the
Put
different angle.
yourself in their shoes. You
Yeah.
know there's snacks coming up at this nice place.
You're like...
And little Nancy decides to stick her hand up and ask a long-ass question.
You know, on that note, the food court at the Life Foundation is probably pretty good.
It's probably about the best chicken nuggets.
Well, it's like San Francisco too, and it's like on the bay. Like
You're getting seafood. They're like they'll spread lobster for these kids because they can.
I just wanted to say too, because we've all gone through classes and shit. Like, there's always one of those kids that's just
hasn't.
asking questions and like, but what about this stupid dumb thing? And you're like, dude, fucking let's move it along.
We gotta get to the gift shop.
You
Come on.
somebody's asking questions and you're sitting there rolling your eyes like,
Gotta get that
Nancy.
space
I
candy.
saw Pop Rocks, god damn it.
Dude,
No,
exactly.
Or she's
it's
the
after
one
not-
girl in the group that always has a question
Yeah,
or
that's
has
what
to
I'm
make
saying.
a comment.
But here's the thing.
Hermione.
It's not Pop
Yeah.
Rocks. It's frozen ice cream. What
Yep.
the astronauts eat.
Yeah.
It's that astronaut ice cream
Yeah.
shit.
You're not a fan. I know.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Really?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what astronauts eat.
That's the tag.
God, it's fucking garbage.
But
I don't care. I feel like an astronaut when I eat space candy.
it's like eating like a chocolate sponge, but it's like a dusty
In
chocolate
space.
flavored sponge.
in space.
I don't think they actually eat that shit. I think it's all like
Marketing scheme.
marketing.
Yeah.
That's how NASA makes
to
their
give
money
them like the
these days.
cheapest possible like snack treat. Here's this like dehydrated sponge
He's no
thing.
fun.
He's gonna explain how dogs don't
Dude.
have souls now.
Dude, no,
They can't go to heaven.
no. I went to NASA. I got that shit. I ate it on site. Like, it's garbage.
Yeah.
We all ate it.
experienced.
Like,
Yeah.
you're not special because
It's
you
shit.
went to NASA.
It's shit.
We all went to a planetarium where we got the same thing. You're not fancy
Yeah.
for going to NASA.
But I
Well,
ate
kinda.
it where it came
Right,
from,
fair enough.
and it was garbage.
But
And
she
I was
did get a pin for her question.
disappointed.
Just because she's like, I am a cool...
It's a bomb.
It's a bomb.
He put a bomb on that little girl.
It's a-
That's what I think.
He doesn't want competition.
Yeah, so
It's like irradiated, so she just slowly dies from
it's
it.
leukemia.
Yeah.
No, dude, it's a tracking device. He's sending men to that girl's house to kidnap her parents and then experiment on them with the symbiotes, and then they're just gonna throw her in an orphanage and forget about it.
Yeah.
Shallow grave for that
Yeah.
girl.
They breed aggressive children. He can use that.
got so dark so fast.
Well,
It's
this
Venom.
movie gets
No, don't do
dark
it. Don't do
too.
Well, so we got to jump back to Eddie Brock because he's getting the big scoop of his life. And by that, I mean So we established that Eddie is known for taking on the man. So what does his parent corporation ask him to do?
Go
Interview.
talk to the man.
Go talk to Drake. And in
You're loose cannon, Eddie.
So here's the thing. It's a very fragile interview. Don't ask any questions that are don't ask any hardball questions. It's a fluff piece. Only talk about the rocket. That's all we need you to do. And Eddie Brock's like, no, I'm not going to do that. He
Well,
straight
you
up
said-
tells them,
yeah.
I'm not going to do that. And they send him anyway.
It's like sending in Riggs over Murtaugh on this. Hate to Lethal Weapon it, but yeah, you're throwing in Mel Gibson over Danny Glover. Nope, he's gonna kill someone.
He's too old for this shit. Yeah.
Murtaugh's taking a fluff
Yeah.
piece. Oh my god.
He's retiring in 2 weeks.
God, edit that. Murtaugh's taking a fluff piece. He is.
But the
Not
question
too old for this shit. Bring me Drake.
But the question is, why does it matter? Is it live? Like they go in and they have the interview and there's a camera there and there's some lady is she there to make sure Eddie stays on the rails?
I think I'm pretty sure that's why she was there.
Then why send Eddie if you're gonna send someone to watch him, why send him in the first
You
place?
said Stone Cold.
Yeah, you sent Stone Cold Steve Austin to deal with Shane McMahon, and you know how that's gonna end.
Shane O'Mac. So yeah, Eddie does exactly what he says he's going to do, and he starts popping off during this interview.
Well, no, he finds out.
Yeah.
He finds out from an email that
Sent
was,
to his fiance's computer.
Yeah,
That has confidential information regarding the crash that happened or some test subject. I don't remember.
I think it was like test subjects were dying.
Yeah.
Essentially,
it was the pharmacy stuff.
Yeah,
he's
that's right.
like,
That's right.
yeah, he's legally taking like homeless people, having them sign contracts they don't understand, and then they die.
I think that's later on in the movie. The document he saw was from the space crash. It was the astronauts that died.
It's the lawsuits from the
Yeah.
people they were experimenting
Yeah.
on that
So,
were missing.
Just a real quick, because there's a rule in journalism that if it's left in the open, you can look at it and report on it. The problem is it was locked behind his fiance's computer. Like there was a lock screen, meaning that it wasn't in the open. So what he did,
Is it her computer? Or
yeah,
their
it was hers.
computer?
It was hers. It
It's-
had her
it's
name and it had a
hers.
password for her. So what that
Yeah.
means is he violated like media ethics. So he's the bad guy in this whole thing. He's a
well,
scumbag.
I mean,
Scumbag.
he's a type. Yeah, I don't know, man.
He's a maverick.
I would just like to say, like, what kind of I enjoyed about this whole setup, though, was in the beginning when it sets up the Eddie Brock show, it, like, shows Eddie Brock is like, hey, I'm this super cool, likable guy. But then I'm sitting there in the theater and I'm watching and I'm like, that's not Eddie Brock. And then he does this scumbag shit. And I'm like, I'm on board.
Yeah.
This is how he's supposed to be.
It's hard, but it's like for Eddie Brock, that's more important than the relationship, I feel, and I kind of like that. In like a universe where Peter Parker's essentially taking selfies of himself.
But so the reason why people like Eddie Brock is because he's taken on the man, right? So that's
Yeah.
why people like him. That's why you think he's got this security here. And again, it goes back to why he's sending in the loose cannon to a fragile situation. But he does his loose cannon thing. His boss gets there, and he goes back to his boss's office. Doesn't even look him in the eye. And he's like, "You're fired." And then 6 months pass, and then you're like, "All right, hold on. Oh, we did skip a part. Hold on, God, you gotta put this somewhere in the in between."
What did we skip?
The old Asian lady when she was so like the
I
symbiote.
think we could touch on that right now.
Okay.
Because we're 6 months in, and he's a scumbag in a bar.
Right, but before the 6
Oh,
month
the old
jump,
Asian lady.
before the 6 month jump, the paramedic the body's done, and the symbiote has to jump. So the symbiote kills people in this crowded market in southwest or southeast China or Southeast Asia. He then jumps into this old fragile Asian lady, and then 6 months pass, and it's kind of established early on too, like these symbiotes can eat up a host in like 6 minutes. But then 6 months pass, and the whole thing is like, we need to find a good symbiote match. We need them to match. Then here we see the Asian lady walking into the Hong Kong airport. She seems fine, but the symbiotes decided, no, this is a pretty good match, but there's a little white girl I'm going to go take over real quick. I'm just going to jump right into that.